Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. How is everyone's week going? This is Crypto News with Julie Kennis. I'm your host, Julie Kennis, and this show is powered by the Gokhshtein News Network. I hope everyone's having a great, great day. I do have a special guest to join us for the day today. So let's go ahead and welcome our friend Deep Pen Connection. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. I always feel so special with my intro video and
I
everything.
know. We just rebranded to the Gokhshtein News Network, and I need to go back and do all of my stuff that has Gokhshtein Media on it now. I thought it would take me a little bit to get used to saying Gokhshtein News Network, but I actually picked it up rather quickly. So now I feel like everything is totally outdated if it says Gokhshtein Media. So.
Yeah, it rolls right up the tongue for you. It'd be quite a tongue twister for me, I think. But
so your show was great. You guys, Brad has started doing his own live stream, and you said you've done what, 11 episodes now?
Today was number 12. Yeah.
Oh, number 12. Okay, great. Yeah. So number 12. So yeah, shout out to you. Your show was all peppy and you had the fun little slides going, and yeah, I was digging it.
I try to bring the energy. I mean, you bring like the best energy, but I'm like, I strive to be like Julie. But no, it's fun. It's fun. Jesse's been on there. Jesse came on there.
Jesse did. Times. Jesse popped in. I know. I saw Alpha Junkies was in there. I'm seeing some of my people popping in there. I like to see that. So yeah, before we came on the live stream, we were talking about Bitcoin Vegas. I was sitting here writing out my whole schedule. Because I wasn't planning to get in until Tuesday morning. And now I think I'm going to get in Monday night because Tuesday is like a completely packed out day in terms of like who I want to see speaker wise. So are you getting in Tuesday or Monday? I forgot what day you said you're getting in.
Flying in Tuesday. As of now. What speakers are you looking?
Okay. So on Tuesday, I already have like my badge and I've gotten approved for all my stuff. So I have my QR code. So that's one less hurdle to get over once I get there. The opening speech is at 9 a.m. So I thought, I don't really care about the opening speech a whole heck of a lot, but I do want to go for a speaker at 11:15 is Brian Johnson, the biohacking guy.
Oh, yeah.
The do not die guy that's like taking his son's blood and stuff like that. He's kind of like, yeah. Anyway, I really want to see him speak because I'm like into the biohacking stuff. But then after him is all the really good speakers that I actually want to see, like Bo Hines, and then Vlad from Tanev from Robinhood will be there. And so I kind of want to see him speak, but he's wedged right in between Bo Hines and Cynthia Loomis. So I really want to see Cynthia Loomis speak. And Cynthia Loomis is going on with Coinbase, which is funny because I had a whole episode about Coinbase yesterday. So she'll be on with Coinbase, and then right after that at 4 is Gemini will be on with David Sachs, and then Don Jr. is closing out the day at 4:30. Wow. I think I kind of want to like maybe once it starts at 9, I'll have time to go do a lap around the show floor, the trade floor, I guess we call it. And see where everything is at, and like maybe pick out which companies I want to go back and hit later. And then Wednesday I have some spots open. So I'm going to plan some interviews in between like pockets of like the speakers, but the opening speaker on Wednesday is JD Vance.
Ooh, nice.
So JD Vance, we've all been memeing him. So I'm interested to see if they play on the meme while we're there. A little please action.
That's that. By the way, that Tuesday lineup, that's crazy. I
That
didn't
Tuesday
realize.
lineup is crazy, right? So
Mm.
yeah, so really the first big speaker on Tuesday is Bo Hines. Now, some of those speakers come back on Wednesday, like Eric and Don Jr. will be on the main stage on Wednesday together at 1:30. So if you don't catch Don Jr. on like opening day, then you could catch him the second day he'll be there.
Okay.
But yeah, so there are some people that are on, but like, yeah, really for me, the big people that I want to see on the main stage are pretty much all packed in on Tuesday. But then that pretty much leaves me like Wednesday to take care of interviews. And then like Thursday, there's not a whole heck of a lot on Thursday. But towards the closing of the conference, Michael Saylor takes the stage, and then Ross Ulbricht is going to close it out. So,
Ooh,
I know.
that's fun. All right, I like that. I like that.
There. So yeah, I'm gonna have to catch the very end of the conference at least. So which by Thursday I'm gonna be dragging. Because there's a
Yeah.
couple of evening events. I know Leslie Mota from G Media is going to be doing an event, so I'm going to make it to that. And then I also RSVP'd to a Kraken event on Wednesday night, and then I RSVP'd to, I think it's Trio is doing the party. Oh my gosh, the Bitcoin party over at Tyson's mansion. So I've RSVP'd to that as well. So if you're not on the Tyson mansion party, you got to go to the Tyson mansion party.
Dang. So you can just sign up for that.
Yeah, you gotta get on the RSVP, because you know how it is. You don't want to get there and then be like, oh, you didn't RSVP, and and they all want like QR codes. So I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't like to be like the person stuck standing at the door. So I wanted to like RSVP for everything ahead of time.
That's smart.
So, if
get
you
on
need
top of
the
that.
link for that, let me know. For either of those, let me know. So the Kraken party is at Omnia at Caesars, and that's on Wednesday at 10. I have to find out where Leslie's. Let me look at my text message from Leslie.
Well, I need all of it. And Suburban, I think, was talking about, he's got a couple little parties. He's in there somewhere.
Oh my God. Let's talk about Suburban painting his nails orange. When he said he was going to paint his nails, I did not realize he was painting his toenails.
I mean, either.
He posted his feet on X. I'm like, just throwing it out there for free. You should have at least put your wallet in there for tips.
Yeah, put your Phantom address, man. Yeah. He brought that up on our X space yesterday. I thought he was kidding, and then I saw.
No, he totally did it. You didn't see his feet. He totally posted his feet.
He did, and he's got his Crocs. He's got Bitcoin Crocs.
He's ready for the pool.
Oh yeah,
he's ready for the pool. He's all tips. How much for the whole thing? Suburban.
We'll negotiate in Vegas.
I just checked the comments. That was really funny. Okay, wait. Let me look at my message really quick. Where is Leslie? Where is my beautiful Leslie? So Creators on Chain. So yeah, May 28th, which is Wednesday. That's at 6 p.m. And that's presented by Jet Set Token. So I don't know anything else about it. Except for, yeah, that's it. That's all. This is all the details.
Yeah, send me all the links. Send me all the links.
6. Let me shove that into my schedule here. 6 p.m. Creators on Chain.
Think about how exciting this conference is going to be with Bitcoin, where it is right now.
I know.
Not to steal your thunder.
I know. It's. You're so right. You were so right. Like, I don't know. I feel like we're headed for some euphoria here. This is good stuff. Do we want to take a look at the charts? Because we can take a look at the charts. It was looking spicy. We're trying to touch 109 again. Look at that. Look at that. I like it. Did I add it to the stage? I did. Okay, making sure you guys could see it. Yeah, so Bitcoin is looking good. What do you think? Do you think it's going to cool off a little bit here, or do you think we're going to continue to find new highs?
I mean, considering the correction we saw, right? The stock market had a pretty rough day earlier,
Mhm.
and considering the correction we saw, we're already climbing back up. Like, I think once we break through, like, we could be in price discovery. Like, I think we could surge.
Oh my
Personally,
gosh.
that's
That
what
would
I'm
be
thinking.
amazing. I would love
Yeah,
some price discovery. Yeah, this was a really sharp sell-off. It was actually quite impressive to see the way the chart came up and down like this. It started to come back up, and I was almost hoping, is it going to form a little cup and handle pattern here and then like kind of take off again? I don't know. It would be great to see something move here, but man, euphoria on the timeline is just it's great. I love to see it. I love to see it. Um
I
yeah.
agree. And like the amount of big institutional purchasing taking place right now in the supply shock, we've seen a lot of the big purchasing has been kind of suppressed from OTC purchases, but by all accounts, it looks like that's starting to dry up. Exchange supply is starting to dry up. So, it could all come together at the right time, right? Where we break
Mhm.
above this previous all-time high and just get into price discovery right when the conference hits. I mean, it'd be pretty wild.
It would be. It totally would be. But and I could feel just the buzz in the room, and perhaps maybe some of the details that come out at the conference will, last year Cynthia Loomis, when she came on directly after Trump. So Trump got on stage, he gave his speech. We're going to become the crypto capital of the world. As soon as he finished his speech, Cynthia Loomis jumped up there and then she held up her, this is our Bitcoin strategic reserve, and held up the bill and essentially proposed it in front of everyone. So I almost wonder if she's going to deliver some sort of remarks that provide some sort of clarification and things like that. Because she is going to take the stage with Coinbase, which yesterday my whole thing about Coinbase was talking about them being a centralized exchange, and now they have a seat at the table in terms of being involved with the policy. And then they started the Stand with Crypto nonprofit advocacy group, which essentially is to help advance the policy within the framework, within the house and all of that. So and then it just, the whole feel of Coinbase, and now they're looking to also purchase Circle, which is
Yeah.
the not the, I almost called it USDC. I wanted to call it a CBDC, but it's stable coin, right? It's stable coin, but it is like a CBDC. So and then Gemini, right after that, will take the stage with David Sachs, who is the crypto czar. So we see here Cynthia Loomis and Coinbase taking the stage together, and then Gemini is taking the stage with David Sachs. So we're seeing this very sort of like unison, you know, the
Yeah.
representatives, the political powers that be, taking the stage with the central exchanges, which is just shocking to me. So,
Yeah, it's good to see the collaboration, the regulatory environment opening up, and I think with the stablecoin legislation, like it's necessary to protect the U.S. dollar as
mhm.
the global reserve currency. So I think they see the writing on the wall, and we need to get ahead of it, and they're doing it, which is good to see. Because we really need to foster the innovation. They unfortunately, under the last administration, they really were kind of attacking crypto, and I think we were at risk of falling behind because right now, like, to me, crypto and AI are the two things, the big races now for this next chapter. From a global perspective, and
Right.
I think we're getting our ducks in the row to be a leader in crypto.
It almost feels like it's all happening so quickly, and now that people can see what we're starting to do, they're also starting to jump. And now we're seeing other countries also looking at Bitcoin strategic reserves. It was like El Salvador did it, but it didn't make it the cool thing to do. And now that the U.S. is talking about it, now it's the cool thing to do, and everybody's talking about a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And so, yeah, it just makes me wonder. I truly wonder if on Tuesday we're going to maybe hear something from Senator Loomis. So she's going to be on at 2 p.m.
Hmm.
Write that down. I was thinking about doing my live stream from the conference, and I probably will because the Robinhood founder is who's going to be on just before that when I would do my live stream. So maybe I will still do my live stream. But yeah, I'm just, the I keep going back to the whole Coinbase thing because I didn't realize they were involved with the Stand with Crypto thing. And then them wanting to purchase Circle would give them ownership over USDC. And then that is pretty much like, you know, the most widely accepted stable coin that we've used so far.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think it's too much centralization of power within the space, or what do you think?
I feel like it is. I feel like it is.
Yeah.
So now it makes me feel like I want Ripple to be the one to get you USDC, because then at least it kind of breaks it up a little bit, because it just feels like you know that article that I read yesterday and breaking down sort of the Coinbase history, they were not pro politics and kind of refrained from being involved in politics up until just recently. And then once they, put the wheels in motion, they went like full pedal to the metal on the gas, in terms of like, oh, now we have this nonprofit. Now we're, going around and raising money and raising awareness, and but then it all goes back to essentially Coinbase, which
Yeah.
they've been the only centralized exchange that's really been able to operate this whole time and haven't really had a lot of the strict scrutiny. They did receive a Wells notice, which is sort of what more or less spurred all of this. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
super excited. I get all up in
Yeah.
it.
You were talking about that yesterday. You were talking about like crypto.com. I like, to me, the fees are pretty egregious on Coinbase, but
Hmm.
also the SEC apparently still investigating them a bit, even though the case was more or less dropped. Apparently, they're still looking at Coinbase and this whole hack that happened.
Right.
I think it's very interesting timing that like as soon as they got their S&P listing, like the next day they're like, oh yeah, we just found out about this. And I'm like, I've been getting those texts about my Coinbase login for months. So I think
Right.
they definitely knew about
Years,
that.
years. Because
Yeah.
one of my first accounts I ever opened was on Coinbase, but the user interface was so garbage. I just hated using it. Like I just
Yeah.
immediately switched to using another app for an on-off ramp. And so, but I've always had it, and I've always received those emails of like, hey, you need to authenticate your, you need to log in, you need to blah blah blah. And I never pay attention to it because I know it's garbage.
Yeah,
Like I don't touch that
exactly.
account. I don't touch that account.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, I'm super excited to go see what comes out. And I do think it could potentially, it could potentially pump Bitcoin a little bit more. So, um, and then the one thing I didn't see, I'm surprised Charles Hoskinson's not on the main stage anywhere, because I went through the whole agenda. He's going to be there, and I believe they're having a booth, but maybe he's going to be on another stage because I think they have like 5 stages.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on with Cardano because remember they had that meeting at the White House and he like wasn't invited last minute. So I'm not sure what happened there. Um,
Right. He's spoken a little bit about it on like David's live stream, because David Goxstein, has him on every other Thursday. And so he'll usually talk about whatever's currently in the news.
mhm.
And so yeah, he's been involved in some of the talks, but he's been not included in some of the talks.
Mhm.
And there's really no reason as to why he's been excluded, because, in my opinion, he's always been very involved in politics and has been a founder that has been very forward facing for our industry and has brought a lot of jobs and kept a lot of jobs here domestically, unlike, people who outsource their customer service to countries, other people in other countries that get compromised. And so, but he is creating a layer, or there is a deployment of Bitcoin and Cardano having interoperability together. And that is also going to expand on other chains as well. I can't quite remember exactly what it's called that they're deploying it on, but he's going to be there. And I believe they're going to be demoing it. But yeah, essentially, whenever you are utilizing and making transactions in Bitcoin, it will also be earning you ADA, and it will be sort of, increasing the stability, and there's just interoperability between the two. So it's really neat to see what's going on in terms of like them being able to start to integrate with some of the other entities, because a lot of crypto has learned sort of how to commingle their platforms, and Cardano's just been in its own native language that's kind of left it on a little bit of an island. So I think they're trying to overcome that hurdle now. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, I am a Cardano holder. I've been holding it for several years and continue to be. It's not like a huge percentage of my portfolio, but I do have exposure to it for sure. Man, Bitcoin's trying, isn't it? It's over.
It's trying. It's trying. It sure is. It is trying. It absolutely is. And ETH. Oh my gosh, ETH. Just look at it. It's just stuck here. I feel like it is perpetually stuck in this 2,500 range.
And it wasn't long
It goes up a little bit. It goes down a little bit, but it feels like it has just been stuck.
Wasn't it just? I mean, it wasn't long ago. Like maybe a few weeks ago, that was down to like 1,800. I think, right? Didn't it get down?
It was. It did get down to 1,800. I was wondering how low it would go. It honestly was starting to feel like bottom once it went below 2,000. There was just no way. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know. What I don't have on here is Sui, and Sui was up to $4 this morning, and I was wanting to take a look at that one, but I don't have that on this chart. But here's Solana. Solana is currently trading at 172. It's 170. Sorry, I was looking at the high of 172, low of 166. Ain't nobody getting orders filled at that. So 170. There we go. Chainlink.
On
Chainlink. Oh, on Solana. Let's take a look.
Curious. 88.8. It looks like.
Yeah, I can't see it on this screen.
88.8 billion. I mean, yeah, I figured Solana would be higher at this point, but I think it has plenty of room to run.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Do you think it'll hit 1,000 this cycle, or do you think it'll hit some resistance before then?
It's a tough question, because like, what is the cycle anymore? Like that's
true
thing. I mean, are we still in this 4-year cycle, or are things changing now that we have so much money coming in? I think that Solana will eventually get to $1,000, but I personally don't think it's going to happen like this year.
Right.
But I think it'll get there.
Next maybe 4-year. I mean, I still, even though people say there's not going to be 4-year cycles, I have a hard time believing that we're not going to still follow the 4-year, what goes up must come down. There has to always be sort of a return, if you will. So I don't know.
I agree. The thing you got to remember though, like, as the halvings become, once you start seeing the daily mining drop, we're at 450, then it drops. Like you get to a point where it's not going to be as impactful, in my opinion, the halving events. But I do think you're right. I do think we're going to continue to see some type of cycle around the 4-year cycle, at least for a while.
Yeah. I do think we will see exponential growth. And that will be probably this cycle once we hit a level of more of mass adoption. I feel like we're pretty much getting to that point. Like, I don't know. I think last time they were saying it's like early stage mass adoption is kind of where they already saw us. So, and then once we, of course, are at mass adoption and everybody knows kind of what crypto is and they're using it, or they don't even realize they're using it because it's integrated with everyday life. I think that's when we're truly at mass adoption. We're going to see less of these, big swings like we see now, but I still think we're going to see more swings in the stock market.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's still the trade war still isn't figured out. Still the bond stuff going on. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for volatility to continue. So I agree. So what do you see what Suburban said? He said, "I'm a happy Cardano girl," means he has more fun.
Yeah, Cardano girls are the best. No, I do love when Charles will get in and kind of like, poke fun of, the different chains and the representation of each different chain. And you have to admit, like, Cardano is, of all the events that I've been to, like, Cardano is like the event where I feel like I could put my purse down and I could go to the bathroom and get stuck chatting with someone and come back an hour later and my purse is still there and nobody's spiked my drink. And, it's just a totally different, it's like feeling like more like you're at a business function. And some people don't like that. Some people, they want to be in crypto because they want to be a degen. They want to be there for the party. Scariest party I went to last year was at Bitcoin, Bitcoin Nashville. The Ord house was freaking terrifying.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the most degen? What's the most degen party chain? That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, no, it would probably be between like Solana and some of the Bitcoin people party, like the ordinal people party pretty hard. But yeah, you could tell. You go to these events and you could just tell when you're chatting with the people that are there. Like, okay, this is not for me party.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Make sure to cover my drink at the Solana parties.
Yeah, you don't want anybody to roofie you, Brad.
No.
All right.
Be careful out here.
Yeah, Suburban might want to be roofied though. So Chainlink, it's here just hovering below $16. It's currently at $15.95. We've got Litecoin is at $96.45. Dogecoin, I feel like it's perpetually at 22 cents, you guys. And ADA, my beloved ADA, 76 cents. All right, let's stop sharing that. I'm done looking at that.
What did Cardano get down to in the last bear market? Do you remember?
This last time, I think it was down to like 24 cents or 26 cents. My average entry price right now is 33 cents.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. But, I am recovering from the last cycle because I bought in at 3. So my friend, Kenny Ray was here. If you are out there, he was one of my very first friends on X, like 4 or 5 years ago. And he was like, you got to buy Cardano. And I bought it. But I bought it at like $3 and it was the top of the market. And so it went up, but then it went down and I held it. And then finally around 290, I was like, I might want to do a stop loss on this one. And I did. I stop lossed at 275.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So it wasn't a huge loss. I think it was like a 30, maybe 40% loss. But this time I was eager to make it back. So, I am now in at 33 cents and we're sitting at 76. So,
look at you managing risk. You fit right in at those Cardano parties, don't you?
It's all just a numbers game.
It's Solana, they're like, what's a stop loss? What is that?
Yeah. Right. Oh no. It's either it's either like 1000x or 0 or write it to 0. That's
crazy.
See.
It did get down to 20. I'm looking right now. I got down to under 25 cents in the bear market.
It did get under 25 cents. I thought it was somewhere around there. Okay, let's pull up our crypto bubbles because I love the crypto bubbles. So here's where we're at. This is the 1 through 100 on the 1 day. It is pretty green all the way across the board. It looks beautiful. Whiffs up 15%. Pi, you guys, if you guys are into like The Simpsons and conspiracy theories on The Simpsons, there's some stuff on there about The Simpsons talking about cryptocurrency back in like the 90s. I think it was like 97 is when this episode aired. They talked about blockchain and cryptography and all of these things that ended up becoming true. And so anyway, if you kind of go back through all the history, they do talk about crypto quite a bit on the Simpsons. But one of them in particular they talk about a lot is Pi and how Pi is going to do really well. So it actually made me think, oh, maybe I need to hang on to my Pi token. Am I going to hang on to my Pi because of the Simpsons? Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
That's one I just can't. I mean, the Simpsons do predict everything, but I just can't get on board the Pi thing. Like, no.
I know. But you know the whole history behind it, right? That it was like created out of Stanford and people were mining it, and then they had to like, it was like a whole thing. It's been a whole thing.
I was mining Pi with the app like 4 years ago. Yeah.
Right. And, so how much Pi did you mine?
I sold.
Do you remember?
You sold it. I sold it.
You KYC'd. You KYC'd?
I did.
And then, oh, wow. Okay. I didn't KYC.
Well, I was like, I'm getting out of this because like the market cap was like over $10 billion. Like, why? What is going on here? And back in March, it was up to like 18 billion. I'm like, no, this is ridiculous. You know why? Because they made it hard to sell. That's why.
Right. Yeah. You couldn't sell it. Yeah. Nobody could sell it. Yeah.
So yeah, I sold. And I told my brother, I was like, get out of this thing, sell it while you can.
But, oh my God, that's so funny. I had everyone in my family mining. Like I like had the whole mining Ponzi going where if they were mining and I was mining, I was getting double mines.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because the people I knew, like it goes up to you. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one that just like I'm like throws me.
I thought it was just really bizarre because they've talked about other coins, but for some reason they've talked about Pi a lot. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. But my dog coin, it is up. It's been up almost 15%. It did get listed on Kraken. Kraken is listed at our first tier 1 exchange. Let's see if it's listed here. It's not listed here yet, but yeah, it is getting listed on Kraken. So that is very, very good news for us dog holders. So, let's see here. I do have some breaking news to get into with you guys. Make sure you can see this. This was actually posted yesterday, but it was after we went live. So I'm going to talk about it today since we've been talking about the lovely Senator Loomis. This says Ripple CEO faces backlash over Senator Loomis comments. So Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is under fire from the crypto community after claiming Senator Cynthia Loomis canceled a meeting with him and refused to reschedule. Garlinghouse made a public plea to Loomis on X, inviting her to be a leader for all of crypto. Bitcoin advocates slammed Garlinghouse, accusing him of ruining his reputation by supporting CBDCs in opposition of Bitcoin. They are calling XRP the pre-mined central bank token and questioned Ripple's legitimacy. The criticism highlights tensions between Bitcoin supporters Ripple, which has faced accusations of centralization in an SEC lawsuit. Some view Garlinghouse's call out of Loomis as a faux pas that separates him from the decentralized crypto ethos. Garlinghouse now faces the challenge of rebuilding trust in the crypto spotlight. Ripple's initiatives aim to strengthen its position of cross-border payments, but its reputational damage may slow adoption among Bitcoin advocates. The crypto community awaits Garlinghouse's next move as he navigates these challenges. Senator Loomis has not yet responded to this post. So, thoughts on that?
I mean, there's a lot of speculation as to some people are saying that she's just a Bitcoin maxi. There's some like rumors out there that her son-in-law is like very anti-Ripple. I don't know. What I have learned.
Wait, who's her son-in-law? Is he someone? He must be someone important.
someone found someone drew this I guess the connection. I saw it in a post and I looked at it and apparently it's real.
Okay.
But look, one thing I've learned is that there's a very polarized view from the community. So people either love Ripple or they hate Ripple.
Same with Cardano.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like people are very charged on this subject. I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. I know Cynthia Lummis has been really big towards getting the Bitcoin bill passed. I love that aspect of it, but
she is taking the stage with our friends at Coinbase. And Coinbase wants to buy Circle. So if it comes down to Ripple or Coinbase buying Circle, it kind of feels like people are already choosing.
Are there any Polymarket odds on this that we can bet on?
That's a good idea. We should look it up.
You know what?
There's got to be a Polymarket bet going on this. Who's going to acquire Circle? Yeah. I mean, so Coinbase is offered what, $5 billion. So would Ripple need to come up with $5 billion, or is it just like
sounds like they might need to come up with a little bit more based on
they got to sweeten the deal
together.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't see, as far as I know, no one from Ripple or XRP community is going to be at least on the main stage at the Bitcoin conference.
Yeah.
But I guess that's not a big surprise because Charles Hoskinson's not there and other coin founders aren't there. So I guess that doesn't matter.
Yeah. I just wonder if something happened behind the scenes that we don't know about that kind of pushed Ripple out. Maybe Brad Garlinghouse pissed somebody off that we don't know what happened. I feel like there has to be something that happened. I don't know.
Wasn't Brad Garlinghouse involved Ethereum, or was he not ever involved with Ethereum?
I don't know about Brad Garlinghouse. Obviously, Charles Hoskinson was, but I do know about
Charles Hoskinson was.
Yeah, I don't know about Brad Garlinghouse and Ethereum.
Anyway, sure. I thought that was an interesting one. I had to read it today since I was talking so much about it. I'm not going to talk. Okay, I'll just talk about this one really fast. Texas House passed its strategic reserve bill. If it's signed into law, the comptroller would establish a reserve and would be allowed to invest in certain cryptocurrencies. You guys, honestly, I was going to read that one, but there was a lot of really hard names in it. I'm not going to try and butcher right now. So full disclosure, I don't feel like trying to say all those hard names. So instead, we're going to go over this article. So the bank lobby is panicking about yield-bearing stablecoins. So citing sources close to the bank lobby, Austin Campbell says financial institutions are spooked by stablecoins that pay interest. So this one I think is a little more interesting. So America's powerful bank lobbying is panicking over the potential of stablecoins to disrupt their traditional business model, particularly when it comes to yield-bearing stablecoins, according to Austin Campbell. In a May 21 social media post that begins with the Empire Lobby the Empire lobbies back, Campbell claimed that the banking industry is especially alarmed by the potential for stablecoins to offer interest or rewards to holders. In a pointed message aimed at Democratic lawmakers, Campbell wrote that the bank wants to protect their cartel so that they can keep screwing your voters. He went on to explain how fractional reserve banking enables banks to maximize profits while offering depositors minimal interest. So, in his post, he said, banks want you to protect their cartel so that they can keep screwing with your voters, especially young voters. You know, the ones that are swung hard to the right because you supported the pro-banker bonus. Why? Because use, for example, the current model of many banks. It says, 1, take deposits, 2, pay depositors zero. 3, make risky loans to commercial real estate billionaires. 4, pay themselves huge bonuses. 5, when it goes wrong, shrug and say, banking is risky, and keep your huge bonuses while sticking the depositors with the losses. Now, this is totally, totally true. And so it kind of goes on to say he's upset about calling it this cartel and the protections. But then it goes into the rise of yield bearing stablecoins. Campbell's scathing assessment of the traditional banking industry comes amid a wave of stablecoin issuers launching yield-bearing tokens. So, as I've talked about here on the channel, banks such as Citibank, Bank of America, etc., have all looked to establish their own stablecoins. And I think this is pretty much their response to being able to, stay in business while there's this major pivot in the financial structure. So, Figure Markets form here above, Figure Certificate Company. So this here says Figure Markets is by no means the only player going down the yield-bearing token stablecoin route. In February, Tether co-founder Reeve Collins announced that his Pi protocol will allow investors to mint the USP stablecoin in exchange for USI, an interest-paying equivalent. Spark Protocol's USDS also offers holders interest payments generated through centralized lending and tokenized treasuries. So I think this is what we're going to see a lot more of in the future, is going to be decentralized lending, is essentially where I kind of see traditional sectors going in terms of finance. What do you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yes, the banks are freaking out. Banks are already hurting for deposits right now.
Mm-hmm.
People are moving to money markets. People are afraid right now, moving to gold, into crypto. And our banks are sitting on massive unrealized losses anyway. They're exposed to a lot of low yield treasuries. And as rates have gone up, our banks are sitting on massive unrealized losses. So anything that's going to threaten more deposits to them, they're going to be very much against. I think the stablecoin bill.
Internet.
What's that?
My internet cut out for a second. It all disappeared. You're back though.
I think the stablecoin bill is going to be really big, and it's going to increase demand for treasuries, which we need right now because yields are going up on our long duration treasuries. We are not getting the same type of interest in buying our debt from Japan, China, and the UK that we used to. So these stable coin issuers are going to be buying up treasuries to back the stable coins. So I'm all for it. If they're giving yield to stablecoin holders because they're getting yield through these treasuries on the back end, that seems like a pretty safe situation to me. As long as we can continue to believe that the U.S. government's good for their debt, which I do, at least for the near term. But I think it's a good thing overall, and the banks, kick rocks as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Yeah, I do think we're going to see a rise of maybe new powerhouses that come out the other side of this from traditional finance. Like we've always seen kind of the same key players that continue to hold major ground, but I think we're going to start to see a shift, and it's going to be the people who are the stablecoin issuers and holders, and then the financial institutions that operate within them. I really feel like we are looking at a major shift and complete overhaul of our financial institutions. Like, it's just amazing to see it in real time. But yeah, I mean, back when we had the 06-07 collapse, my brother was one of those where he went to the bank to withdraw money and they said, "We don't have your money." And the money came from his employer, direct deposit to his account. He knows the money is supposed to be there. And he had to show up at the bank every day asking, "Where's my money? Where's my money?" And then finally on the third day, he got, aggressive enough with the branch manager that they gave him his money. But not everybody is going to aggressively shake down a bank branch manager.
No.
Most people were not able to get their money back out of the bank, and and that's a lot of why we saw the rise of Bitcoin in the first place. So I think that's why I had that like more or less that crash out on Coinbase yesterday. Because I'm starting to piece together all these things, and I'm like, why is it all Coinbase? Why is it all going to Coinbase? Like, why are they the ones?
It is a little bit scary. And to your point about getting your money out of the bank, like other countries are seeing this now, where if you want to get your money out, you have to give them a legitimate reason as to what you're using your money on. It's like, why do I have to tell you what I'm using my money for to get my money? And that's what we're doing. I mean, that's the banking system. You are effectively giving them a loan. I mean, yes, you're depositing money there, but then they're taking your money and investing it elsewhere. And in many cases, they're underwater on those investments. So the money's not there. Like if everyone went to go get their money out of the bank, our banking system would fold. This is what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. They bailed them out. They effectively bought back the treasuries at face value, even though they're underwater on them. But the government would be faced with a really difficult decision if there is a big run and some of our bigger banks are facing that same situation. Like, do they let things collapse or do they print their way out of it? And I imagine they would print more money to get us out of it. But that's just another reason why Bitcoin and gold are good hold in self-custody. Yes. Like your bank, you don't want to give your money to the bank or the exchange for that matter. Right? Like I don't leave any money on Coinbase. I use it for on and off ramp, but I self-custody. So that protects you from that.
Well, and as soon as we interact with these stable coins, once the legislation's in place, and the stablecoin legislation is there to allow visibility and clawbacks for the event that it's funding terrorism, and that's ultimately why they're creating the laws the way that they are. I get that, but at the same time, it makes it a little scary, because then it's like, okay, we'll say someone like Coinbase, who's becoming more involved in government and is taking more of a role at creating policy, now has the control of Circle and that stable coin, and then over since Circle's inception, then is that all property of Coinbase, that ledger and all the transactions, and then does that become property of the U.S. government?
Yeah. So to your point, like, when does this stablecoin become a CBDC? Like that's really the question, right? And we are playing with fire here. I agree with you. In giving too much control, especially if they're in cahoots with the government. So
yeah. I mean, because Coinbase they're doing their Stand with Crypto, and they're nonprofit, and they're all over, and they're in Sacramento, and they're having their little round table on the state level, so so I find it really interesting. So that's all the dirt for today. That's all the dirt for today. But I be careful of the stable coins too. I feel like privacy is more important than ever. I feel like privacy should be the top of everyone's mind right now. Like, if you have not done research on privacy coins, privacy swaps, now is the time. I should probably do a whole episode on privacy. It would not be a bad episode to do.
So, yeah, I agree.
Thanks for coming out, Brett. So you're getting in right now. You're planning Tuesday.
I'm planning on Tuesday, although after you stated that lineup on Tuesday, I don't know. I'm going to change my travel plans.
I really want to see the biohacker dude, the Brian Johnson guy. It's such a funny one to start it out.
For sure.
It's totally weird. He looks like a robot. Like I almost just wonder if he looks like a robot in person. I want to just see it in person. I said it like he said thing.
I mean, yeah, like taking the blood from his children. That's kind of weird, but it's we'll see how it works out for him. I don't know. He's he's onto some weird stuff. Like I've read some pretty long threads and some articles about him. But yeah, it would be interesting to see him in person for sure. Like, how robotic are you?
He's very active on X. He interacts with a lot of people, and I've tried to interact under some of his stuff before, but he gets a lot of hate. He gets a lot of hate for, obvious reasons, because he's just into weird stuff. Like there's this one guy who like every day he posts a new thread about just poking holes in all of the experiments he's doing on himself. Like I don't even know if I should say this. He brags about waking up with his morning wood and, I'm my age and I still have morning wood. And he's like, well, your freaking daily medication regime includes Cialis. What do you expect? Like, so it's just funny.
Yeah. So like weird brag there, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
weird flex.
Yeah. Weird flex is right. Yeah. So the guy's taking Cialis like, I don't know how this is happening. Like,
I don't know. If I was popping the little blue pills all day, yours would be too.
That's pretty
anyway,
funny.
That's too much. Anyway, Princess, you're gonna be in Vegas? Oh, that's amazing. Oh. I'm wanting to plan like a girl dinner. Robert Hansen's all humble brag much. Princess, you need to DM me on X if you can. Let's plan a little something. I want to get together with you. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for being here, Brad. I will be with you next week, IRL. I'm so excited.
I'm excited as well, and thanks for having me on. And excited to meet other people too. Like it'll be good. We'll all have to meet up for sure.
Absolutely. So thanks for being here. And everyone, I will be back tomorrow at 1:00 Pacific time. And be sure to tap in with Brad. He is on daily. What time is your show on?
I've been getting on at 1:30 p.m. pretty much every day.
Central and you're time. Doing Central. 1:30
Central. An hour and a half before you.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. And then your X and YouTube also, right?
Correct. Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, we will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Brad.